Hey everybody, this is GGB, co-host Poppers, and I hope you guys are excited for college basketball upset of the day, Thursday edition. So, I clinched my not having to do a dare yesterday with no upsets, so let's go over it real quick. So, Alcorn State took on number 2 Baylor, and the result is what you would have expected. Baylor absolutely dominated, scored over 100 points, which is really impressive for a team. It was what we expected out of Baylor. Now, Virginia played the closest game of the day. Almost had a 9-point loss to Notre Dame, but again, it was not a great day for upsets. Nothing really happened today upset-wise. Actually, nothing exactly happened upset-wise. Well, there was a couple upsets in, not top 25 teams, but other than that, yeah, nothing really much happened. But Virginia played the closest game. Notre Dame played the closest game of the upsets today, but a 9-point victory is still a 9-point victory. It was impressive by Virginia, a team that I didn't think was very good heading into this week. Virginia changed my mind a little bit, but not too much. Notre Dame's a good squad, but not a great one. So, again, I'm not absolutely stunned by what this team has been doing so far, and I think 23 is a little bit generous for a 4-2 team. But, I guess 5-2 now that they won. So, I'm going to be interested. Saturday can change a lot of opinions for me when they play Virginia Tech. But right now, I'm unimpressed by what the Cavaliers have been doing so far. Nebraska at number 25, Ohio State. Now, Ohio State is a team with 2 losses that I am impressed by what they're doing. Ohio State looked great against Nebraska, but it's against Nebraska. And if you're going to... There are no easy wins in the Big Ten except for Nebraska. Nebraska should be an easy win, right? It's hard to have a league where all of your teams are good. Nebraska's kind of our ugly child, not having a great team. But, other than that, you have to win these ones by a lot if you're a team that plays Nebraska week in, week out. Because all the other 12 teams are a team that's going to fight you to the very end. It's going to be a very good battle. So, no wins are going to be handed out in the Big Ten. This is just something you have to accept from Ohio State, and that's what happens. Number 7, Tennessee was taking on number 12, Missouri. And while, again, I think Missouri's gone downhill. I had very high... I was very impressed with Missouri when they beat Illinois. That was a good win. I was impressed. Then they almost lost to Bradley, and I'm like... Yeah, I'm not exactly believing in this team. And then you could see it. All the things Bradley did wrong. And there were some bad things that Bradley did wrong. And they could have clinched out that game and could have pulled off the huge upset. But they did not, right? So, we ended up with not that upset. But Tennessee's not going to make those mistakes. I think Tennessee is a really good basketball team. I think possibly top 5. It depends. I think it's possible. I think they end up getting in the 5 spot mainly because Houston lost and Wisconsin lost this week. And as long as Tennessee doesn't lose, if they play again this week, let me double check. I don't think they do, but Poppers, calm down, Pop. I don't know. They play one more time this week against Alabama. I think if they win that game, they are in top 5 position. Tennessee Jeff absolutely blew up Missouri, and this is why I get the half points. Again, if you don't know my scoring system, I get half point for no upsets in a day, a point for upset I got right, a point and a half for biggest upset of the day. Now, if you guys think my scoring system's a little bit unfair, if I should have to score more points in a week, I'm welcome to suggestions. Just put them down in the comment section below. But let's get into these Thursday games. I'm excited by them. So we have 3 actually underrated games on Thursday. Everyone's going to be excited because it's New Year's Eve, and there's 3 bowl games today. And then there's New Year's Day bowl games. So there's a lot of fun to be had on New Year's Eve, and especially not to mention, it's New Year's Eve. Big New Year's Eve parties. I hope I'm going to have some people over. It's going to be pretty freaking awesome. But Minnesota at number 6, Wisconsin. Now, this was a game that really does have the chance to be an upset. Wisconsin's favored by 7.5 points, but I don't know if you watched Wisconsin against Maryland, but they looked god-awful. They did not look like the team that I think is going to win the Big Ten. Now, I understand teams can have a bad game. You can have a bad game on any given day. But you can read a little bit into that. I'm going to read a little bit into it. But Minnesota just pulled out one of the best wins of the year, in my opinion, against Michigan State absolutely dominating a really good Michigan State team this year. Michigan State started 0-3 in Big Ten play. Not a good look for the Spartans moving forward. Hopefully they lodge their first win soon. But it's definitely going to be interesting. I think Minnesota definitely has a good team. Their guard, Carr, leads all major conference players in assists and free throws with 61 assists and 63 free throws, which is an absolute insane amount of free throws to take in only 10 games. That means he's averaging about 6.3 free throws a game, which is really impressive. You normally don't get to the line that often every single game. I think Minnesota definitely has a chance of upsetting Wisconsin Badgers in this one. So at 6 o'clock, we have number 16 Michigan taking on Maryland. Now Michigan's undefeated on the year and actually looks like one of the top contenders to win the Big Ten. Looks like a really good basketball team this year. I'm really excited to see how the Wolverines do. But Maryland just lodged one of the biggest wins of the year for them, moving them to 6-3 on the year. Great win for Maryland. The Maryland Terrapins just beat, if you didn't know, Wisconsin, the 6th-ranked team in the nation at that point. Probably will not be next week, but very impressive win by the Terrapins. I think this is definitely a game possibility for Maryland. I think they definitely have a shot in this one. They're a very good team. Michigan's also a very good team, so this is going to make for some must-watch basketball on ESPN2. I might actually watch it over the Liberty Bowl that's going to be happening at the same time. It's going to be a really good basketball game. Normally I don't prioritize basketball over football because I really like football a good amount more than basketball. Not that I don't love college basketball, which I do, but normally I kind of want to watch the bowl games more, but I mean, this game's going to be one for the ages. I really love this matchup between Michigan and Maryland. I think it's going to be a close one. I think Maryland definitely has a chance of pulling off this upset. And then Cal at number 21, Oregon. Now, this is going to be a game that a lot of people overlook because it's Oregon, so basically at the very bottom top 25, right? I don't understand, by the way, going back to the Michigan, how is Michigan's only ranked 16th in the nation after being undefeated in Big Ten play so far? It absolutely astounds me. But, I think there's, in the Big Ten, any team can beat any team in any given day because there's just that many great teams. I think it's the same thing about Pac-12. Any team can beat any team in any given day. But it's more like any team can beat any team any given day because all of them really suck. I think Oregon's decent, but that's Pac-12 decent. So, in other words, they're not a good basketball team really at all. They're ranked 21st in the nation. Again, 6-1. The loss to Missouri looks better and better each week. But, I mean, I don't honestly believe in the Ducks. I don't believe them to do a lot of things. Cal is somewhat decent. If you watch Cal basketball, they're really up and down. I don't know what's going on with them. I really don't know how to predict how they're going to do this year. I think the Golden Bears definitely have a shot in this game, though, mainly because it's the Pac-12, and literally anything can happen any given day because they all really suck. So, that's just my opinion on it. But, drumroll, please. What is GGB going to pick as the first upset of the day? And it is going to be, I'm going to take Maryland to upset number 16, Michigan. Now, there are some reasons going into this, right? So, there's a reason why I didn't pick number 21, Minnesota, at number 6, Wisconsin. Wisconsin just got embarrassed by the Maryland Terrapins. And normally, whenever you need a big win to bounce back, that's when you get it as a Big Ten team. It's normally what happens in the Big Ten if you've been watching Big Ten basketball this year. So the Badgers really need a bounce-back win. Minnesota doesn't really need that considering they destroyed Michigan State. I expect Wisconsin to come out there fighting, and they're going to end up beating the Golden Gophers. Now, I'm not going to take the risk on the Cal game, which I really think Cal could still pull off this upset, but I'm not going to bet against Oregon over Cal over Oregon. It just seems like a foolish move. So that leaves with me at Michigan at Maryland. Now, Maryland, again, doesn't desperately need this win, but it would be nice to lodge a win against number 16 Michigan. That would possibly get them in the top 25, which is pretty important. I'd say I like... If my basketball team isn't going to make the top 25 this year, that's Penn State. But if I'm a Maryland fan, beating the top 25 means a lot. So this is a win you desperately need if you want to make the top 25. Plus, 6-4 record is honestly not great. A 7-3 record, on the other hand, pretty good record. So obviously, it's a pretty important win for Maryland. I really think that they can lodge it against Michigan, and I'm going to pick it. But anyways, this is GGB, Carlos Pepper saying adios, amigos. And go Terrapins.